Now, as of filming this video, I'm currently almost approaching my 8th year of consistently dividend investing, buying different dividend paying stocks and ETFs basically every single day the stock market is open. And over the past 7 or 8 years now, I've been able to build out different positions throughout my long-term portfolio, as you can see right here, that pay me several thousands of dollars on average per month. As of right now, we're looking at around $7,100 per month on average, or around $85,000 per year. Now, because I've been buying so many different shares of different stocks and ETFs over the past several years, at this point, I'm earning several hundreds of dollars pretty consistently throughout the weeks, and this is throughout my various portfolios across different brokerages. But at this point, the portfolio truly feels like it has a mind of its own. The snowballing effect feels as if it's in full effect, and the portfolio is growing on top of itself. But in this video specifically, I thought it'd be interesting to go through and share with you guys the actual specific daily buys, whether it's stock or ETFs, that I am currently buying consistently as of right now, basically daily, as a 7-figure dividend investor whose objective is basically to add as much forward dividend income as possible in a safe manner, but also buy into different stocks and ETFs that have upside on top of that. So if you want to see an inside look on what I'm basically buying as far as dividend stocks and ETFs every single day the market is open, make sure to stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into it. Real quick, for those that haven't already, make sure to go to the first link in my description and grab my new dividend investing ebook, where I share exactly how I went from $0 invested to now earning over $6,000 on a monthly basis and over $1 million invested in the market. Along with the ebook, you're also going to receive my custom dividend tracker, where you can track your dividend progress on an ongoing basis and reach your dividend investing goals. So make sure to grab yourself a copy of my dividend investing ebook and the new dividend tracker today. It's the first link in my description. Now, the different ETFs that I'm going to share with you, which are basically on my daily buy list as of right now, are not the only positions that I'm buying almost every single day, but these are for the most part as of right now where the majority of my cash balance goes to consistently. And again, I'm basically solving for upside potential, but also a lot of dividend income consistently, which is just my specific strategy, my objective. Of course, it doesn't have to be yours also. But the first position that I'm still buying consistently basically every single day is SCHD, or the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF, which I currently at last count have around 671 shares of. Now, I buy SCHD almost every single day because I still am looking to build out a big foundation in my portfolio. Even though my portfolio is pretty built out at this point, I still think that building the foundation wider and wider with a high quality dividend growth style ETF like this one is going to help the portfolio not only pay me more and more dividend income over time, but also is going to help the portfolio grow over time, which is going to make my net worth flourish hopefully in the upcoming years. Now, this ETF only pays me around 3.5% starting yield as of right now. But again, because SCHD, at least historically, has paid more and more in dividend income over time over the years, I'm hoping that even though I'm only getting around a 3.5% yield as of right now, later on in the future, I'm going to be seeing a 4% and a 5% yield on cost. Now, once I get my portfolio altogether around 750 or so shares, I think at that point, relative to the size of my portfolio, I'm going to be good on this one and probably move the funds into something else. But as of right now, this is still one of my daily buys. I've been buying SCHD now for several years. The next ETF that's basically on my daily buy list, this one is another one that you guys probably are familiar with. I'm talking about DIVO, or the Amplify CWP Enhanced Dividend Income ETF. Now, I like DIVO because, again, DIVO offers a significant amount of income from day one with around a 4.5% starting yield, but also because of DIVO's holdings, which are a little bit more growth focused, DIVO does have the potential for upside, which we've seen DIVO grow pretty substantially over the past several years. Now, because I'm sort of a hybrid investor, meaning that I want some exposure to income, but also growth and dividend growth, DIVO is sort of a best of both worlds position. This ETF over time, like I said, has grown significantly, but also with around a 4.5% yield. DIVO is one of my favorites as far as income, but also upside potential on top of that. Now, for that reason, whenever I have extra cash balance in my portfolio, I'm normally grabbing a few shares of DIVO. It's relatively low beta. This ETF has pretty much traded up and to the right over time. DIVO is one of my favorites in the world of dividends, but also upside on top of that. A newer position that I've been definitely adding some more shares just as of recently is VIG, or the Vanguard Dividend Appreciation ETF. Now, VIG is pretty low yield. We're talking a 1.7% yield. It does, of course, have massive dividend growth though historically. And on top of that, as I get closer and closer to where I sort of want to be as far as monthly average dividend income, I'm getting to a point to where I want to have some exposure to some growth potential also. And maybe I'm naive as an investor, but I really want the best of both worlds. I want to have part of my portfolio growing over time, and I want to have the other part of my portfolio paying me massive amount of dividends also. So maybe unlike some other investors out there that just focus on one strategy, I really want to double dip and have exposure to growth, but also income and dividend growth, like I said. Now, VIG has been a relatively newer additive to the portfolio. I think I only have around maybe 6 or 7 shares, but moving forward throughout the rest of this year and early next year, I think I'm going to continue to grab more VIG ongoingly. Now, I've made it clear that throughout my portfolio, I want exposure to growth as well as dividend growth, but I also want exposure to a massive amount of dividend income ASAP. And because of that, I've been investing in different alternative style investments like SVOL or SVOL, the Simplified Volatility Premium Income ETF. This ETF is offered around 16-17% as far as yield goes, pays around 30 cents more or less in distributions every single month, at least it has historically. So for an ETF that costs around $22 to $23, for every single share that you buy, let's say you buy 3 shares, you're almost quote unquote guaranteed around 90 cents in 4 distributions at up and coming month. This ETF has definitely helped me get closer and closer to my goal as far as my long-term monthly average dividend income goal. And I'm not necessarily saying that this is an ETF that's perfect for everyone out there, but as far as an ETF that's going to offer a substantial amount of income and be relatively safe, at least historically speaking, SVOL or SPYI has been a great additive to my portfolio as of recently. Now, that being said, I would never personally have an ETF like this one make up a majority of my portfolio. It's always going to be a side position, again, sort of trying to get the portfolio's income to a certain point. And once it gets to that certain point, I think I'd much rather buy more VIG, SCHD, DGRO. But again, it depends on where my strategy moves in the up and coming years. But SVOL, as far as an ultra high yielder, this is one of my favorites. I've talked about it before in the channel. Definitely check out SVOL if you haven't already. Now, the last ETF that I've been buying basically every single day ongoingly as of recently throughout my 7-figure portfolio, and an ETF that I'm going to plan on buying for a while now, is SPYI, or the NEOS S&P 500 High Income ETF. This ETF pays monthly, has a relatively cheap expense ratio, and offers around 12 to 13% distribution rate, which is massive and also has been a huge help in getting my overall dividend income number monthly up as fast as possible as of recently. Now, even if this ETF trades more or less sideways, it pays distributions in a rather tax efficient manner in my opinion, and this ETF also does have some upside because of the strategy that it employs. Now, there's other great covered call style, income style ETFs out there like JEPB or JEPQ, and of course you guys are probably familiar with those. But as far as the covered call style strategy, SPYI, some of these NEOS ETFs that are relatively new have done great so far, have offered nice positive total returns, and pay a consistent amount of distributions. SPYI has paid around 50 cents more or less every single month since inception, which is not bad whatsoever, especially for an ETF that costs around $50 per share. Now, just like some of the other higher yielders out there, once my SPYI position gets to a certain point, I'll probably let it be at that. I'm not necessarily going to keep buying these forever because for me specifically, I only need so much dividend income coming in per month, honestly. And after that point, I'll probably move over my cash balance into things like dividend growth or maybe just pure growth, etc. But regardless, as of right now, SPYI is still on my daily buy list. I've been buying a ton of this one over the past several months and will probably keep building up my position until I have probably around 1,000 shares, which I'll hopefully hit sometime next year. So those are more or less my daily buys as of right now throughout my 7-figure portfolio, and some of the reasons being on why I'm buying the different ETFs ongoingly. Now, you guys probably noticed that I'm buying mostly ETFs these days, and this is just because as I get older and as I sort of have less time to even spend on this type of thing, well-diversified passively or even actively managed ETFs sort of help even out risk throughout my portfolio, and I've really enjoyed investing into them as of recently. Now, that does not mean that I'm done investing into single name stocks like Realty Income or even names like Enterprise Product Partners, etc. But as of right now, the majority of my cash balance is going into the names that we talked about in this video. So now that I share with you guys my 7-figure dividend portfolio and I share with you the majority of ETFs that I'm personally purchasing as of this point, I lastly want to hear from you guys down below. What is the #1 stock or ETF that you're currently adding to your long-term portfolio on a daily, weekly basis? Drop the ticker symbol in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.